Good morning. Good morning. I love doing these shows. I love coming on here and sharing all of this cool stuff with you. And today I want to talk about life being all about continual growth. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I truly believe and understand from personal experience and everything else that life happens for us, not to us. And when you're brave enough to take that stance and use everything that happens as an opportunity to learn something about yourself, and you get brave enough to take that first step then to work towards your fears so you can break them down and see them for what they really are, life truly does become rewarding. And I love creating quotes. If you follow me, you know that. And I've created one that says, be brave enough to take the first step, because when you do, it'll be one of the most rewarding journeys you will ever embark on. Now, I believe the key to being successful there and staying on track with that is to celebrate yourself at each step along the way, no matter how small or insignificant that step may seem, because every moment matters, right? That should be I should make that a quote too. Every moment matters. And that you can translate that into everything in life, because it really does. When you take the time to recognize and celebrate your efforts, it'll motivate and encourage you to continue, and to keep going even when it starts getting a bit dodgy. But when is the right time to celebrate then? And the most important time, I believe, to recognize your efforts is whenever you meet a goal, or whenever you make any kind of progress towards one. All of that, even if it's a tiny little step, is a cause for celebration. It doesn't have to be this grand affair. It could be something as simple as taking yourself out for a special treat, or having an evening dedicated to self-care so you can give yourself that boost of motivation and joy you need to keep going. And when you make it a point to celebrate all your successes, no matter how small, it will keep you moving in the journey, moving on your journey, and keep you feeling empowered and make you want to stay the course and discover more of who you are. If I can do that, what else can I do? Right? Because if you don't take the time to recognize your progress, that's when you lose motivation and momentum. You get despondent, was the word I was looking for. When you don't take the time to appreciate that your own accomplishments, the times that drain you, the times that make you question everything that you're doing, that can make it really difficult to stay focused and stay motivated. And actually that navigate, oh my gosh, it actually will activate your negative self-talk and decrease self-confidence, right? It will start you on that questioning, am I doing the right thing mode. It'll get you questioning everything you're doing, and then people will get in your ears, all right? And if you've been working to step outside your comfort zone and trying to push through fears, and it's not going how you thought it would, and you're not recognizing even the smallest efforts, that's when that negative self-talk and everybody around you will really get to you, and you end up giving up. Now, a lot of people give up at that point, right? Because they think they're not good enough, or they're not worthy, or they knew it wouldn't work, right? Okay, so anyway, before I go any further, welcome to MindFit Mornings. I'm Pamela Hartnoll, where I share tools and concepts with you so you can live your life by design rather than exist by default. And if you've just joined us, this month's theme has been about celebrating that journey that we take when we decide to dig deep and start to unpack the places in our hearts and our minds where all those unresolved issues are hiding and silently sabotaging you. And you know they do, because you get triggered. All triggers are like unresolved issues trying to get your attention, going, hey, I'm still in here. And so we've been working on this throughout the whole month. And today is about, when do you celebrate that journey? So I believe it's important to celebrate yourself all the way along the way. Because when you do, as I've said before, you stay motivated and inspired to continue, even when you're faced with that resistance, and whether that resistance is internal from old negative beliefs and stories, or external resistance from others in their objections and their negative impact, because that can be tough to navigate. Because remember, when you start making changes, the people that benefit the most from you not making changes, for needing you to stay exactly as you are because you're helping them somehow, they're the ones that are going to make your life difficult, right? They're not going to want you to change, because they need you to be who you have been throughout the whole time that they've known you. And they're the ones that will throw up all sorts of obstacles and reasons why you shouldn't do something, or why it won't work, or whatever negative excuse they come up with. It's actually a really good way to find out who's in your life for what reason, really, isn't it? Because who's benefit from you being the way you are right now? And if you can be a better version of yourself, your real friends, the people that love you and care about you, will want that for you. Think about that. The questions you can ask yourself are like, who are those people that are putting up resistance? Who are they? Are they really your friends? Do they really have your best interest at heart? And then ask yourself, if you do make this change, who's going to lose what? Right? Because honestly, the people that put up the most resistance, they're the ones that are gaining from you staying stuck exactly where you are. So when you can keep moving forward despite that kind of resistance and recognize yourself for the hard work and be determined, like, I want to be the best version of me, right? You're more likely to reach further than you've ever gone before, right? And all it took was for you to find the courage to take that first step. And so I'm going to repeat it again. So be brave enough to take the first step, especially if that step is outside your normal and therefore outside of your comfort zone, because it takes courage to step outside your comfort zone and to challenge yourself and to stop trying or thinking that you have to do it alone. Get a coach, get a mentor, get some help. I help thousands of people do this. All right. And it's when you've got a plan, when you've got someone guiding you, someone to pull you up by your bootstraps, it's actually a lot easier than trying to do it by yourself. Because when you decide to go on that journey, the results you get are life-changing. I use a dartboard process with my clients. I teach them how to incrementally step outside their comfort zones so their fears don't get activated. And if they do, they don't get activated in a big way. So this is where it's really important to recognize your progress, no matter where you are on your journey, and giving yourself credit for your efforts. And when you do that, you're sending a message to yourself that all the hard work and the effort you're doing, even when it's not working and you feel like you're failing, like, I don't believe in failure, I believe in feedback. But you're sending that message to yourself that you're worth it, that the effort's worth it, and that you're worth it yourself. Like, I'm doing this for me. And because when I'm the best version of me, everyone around me benefits. The people that care about me do anyway. Okay? Because when I'm a better version, when I'm a better mom, my kids get a better mom. Okay? Better parent, better brother, better sister, better wife, whatever. So when you recognize your own successes, it's also easier to motivate other people to reach for their goals too. I can't tell you how many people have read my book, Making Broken Beautiful, and have started their own personal journey. And because of it, and that just fills me with so much joy. So as always, I've created 10 different times. I mean, there's hundreds of times when you should celebrate your personal growth, but just to give you an idea of the things, because people say, well, when do I celebrate? And so I believe the first one is when you've taken on a challenging task and you've completed it successfully. Because when you feel satisfied that you've accomplished something, take pride in that progress that you've made. Because when you do, it shows you that you're capable, you're acknowledging that you're resilient, that you're capable, and that you have the strength to overcome any obstacle. And you can look back on how far you've come. It's a great sort of source of motivation. And give yourself a visual, by the way, and have your goals written down. Like, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be, and these are the steps. And I got to this step, and I dropped back, and I got to this step, and I dropped back. But eventually, I got there. I have plenty of them around me where I'm always looking at, where am I now? I'm in the middle of a big transition like that in my life right now. So then the next time then is to, when you achieve a goal, and I don't care whether that goal is tiny, or whether it's a massive big goal, because it's important to recognize your achievements. Even if that's just you entertaining the idea of starting a personal growth journey, starting to work on yourself and starting to challenge your limiting and sabotaging beliefs, especially if all of that's new to you, because you're not alone there. It's a large percent of the population in the world don't see the necessity of personal growth. They just go through the same day doing the same thing over and over again, and then wonder, they get to the end of their life and go, I wish. Yeah, don't die with regrets. All right, die with the fact that you faced a fear, even if it's scared you witless. Because when you do want to start on that journey, right, and you feel it's time, reach out for help or advice. Recognize that too. It's a sign that you want to take some action and you want to progress in your life. Don't get stuck there. Don't die with regrets. No, the world. I'll come back to that. Don't die with regrets. All right. 3, when you've developed a new skill, this is another time to celebrate. A new skill that's helped you reach your goals, and recognize that because of your efforts you're making and the determination you're putting in, you're seeing the results, right? And you're making progress. And when all of that progress and those results start to sink in, all your hard work's paying off, that's definitely a time to reward yourself for all of that dedication. Because it's a big deal learning a new skill, especially when it comes to personal growth. It's one of the best ways to reach your goal. And you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you're capable of until you try. So when you can successfully learn and master a new skill, not only are you able to apply it towards achieving your goals, but it will work in other areas of your life too. You gain so much knowledge, and all of that together just gives you more confidence and self-belief. So it's definitely worth celebrating. So another time then is when you've identified an obstacle in the way of your progress and you got creative and found a solution. Now, I believe overcoming obstacles is the biggest thing to celebrate, and definitely to recognize your efforts and determination there, no matter what that obstacle was, right? Because when you persisted through those difficult moments, when things didn't go as planned and nothing seemed to be working out, but you kept going anyway, or the time you felt overwhelmed by the amount of work and how much ahead of you. I've been there so many times, right? But you don't give up and you don't stop. So, and when you make mistakes, right? I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made either. But when you can understand that these mistakes are teaching you valuable lessons and providing an opportunity to growth, life happens for you, not to you. That's worthy of celebration, because, okay, I hate this. This is annoying. It's making me sad. It's making me angry. It's whatever's going on. Okay, but what's it teaching me? I can get lost in what it's doing to me, or I can go, what's it teaching me? What's it doing for me, right? And I can recognize the efforts and my resilience in not giving up despite everything that's going on, right? Obstacles are the biggest time, I think, to celebrate. When you get past it, you go, yes, I'm really good at it. Yes, I get my clients to do that. Okay, cool. So another time then is, and this is another big one actually, when you've been able to forgive yourself for your mistakes or your perceived shortcomings. Because I don't know about you, but I'm tougher on myself than anyone else could ever be. So, and that's a big hurdle, right? Overcoming stuff like that, and being able to to forgive yourself is huge, right? And most people I've worked with have struggled with that at some point. But when you can work through why you think you don't deserve to forgive yourself, or I could never forgive myself, or you're beating yourself up because of X, Y, Z, right? When you do that, the self-forgiveness is a massive step towards discovering who you really are, right? Because what story is so attached to that you can't forgive yourself, right? But that's a whole nother thing. And I've actually done other videos on that as well, trainings on that. When you keep going after forgiving yourself and bit by bit navigate your personal growth journey, you uncover more of who you really are and uncover your real potential. And you have to be proud of that. You become someone that you'll be proud of, not someone that you're constantly criticizing and putting down, right? Live your life to be someone that you can be proud of, okay? So the sixth one then, I think we're at six. I think it was six. Anyway, when you've learned something new and that's improved your understanding of yourself and the world around you. When you finally nail something that you've been working towards and can see and feel and how you've grown from that, and that's a place to be proud of yourself. So take time out of your day then to acknowledge that you did it, and recognize the efforts, especially when you realize that your beliefs have become stronger than ever before, and you're no longer reacting in the same way to situations or to people that used to unravel you or irritate the hell out of you just by standing there. Right? When you can respond to people that used to bother you in a controlled manner instead of unconsciously reacting, you can be thankful for the lessons and the journey that helped you achieve that. And that is something you should be proud of, and proud of and celebrate everything you've learned because of it. Like, I can now do this. I get my clients to write down, like, okay, well, how did you used to react, and now what are you doing differently? And every time you're doing that, you're reinforcing, I'm actually growing, I'm actually getting better. So the seventh thing then is when you've taken a risk and experienced that feeling of success on the other side of it, that is definitely another perfect win to celebrate your progress, right? Especially if you've pushed through like some of your deepest fears, whether that's anxiety or stress, or even can be just as something like feeling frustrated with yourself or the process, or even just life in general, right? When you feel overwhelmed and recognize that I can't do it, but then you can understand that maybe this is a normal way to feel given what I'm trying to do here, and then give yourself time to process everything. Give yourself credit for everything you're doing. Take a step back, and instead of getting lost in everything that's gone wrong, look at what's actually gone right. What's gone right? Okay, that all went wrong, but what went right? And focus on that and go, can I stop doing less of that and more of this, right? And when life feels uncertain and things don't go to plan, remind yourself that it's okay not to have all the answers, and celebrate the fact that you're continuing to progress anyway, even if that you know, like the inchworm, if it's only little bit by little bit, and give yourself, at least give yourself some kudos and credit for how far you've gotten to where you are so far, right? Even if it's only there to there and you've slipped back and you got on. I know when I work with addictions, you know, people slide back and they come forward and they slide back, but they don't slide back all the way, right? So long as they get back on and keep going, eventually they get to where they want to get to. All right. Perfect. Okay. So what about when you've had difficult conversations, right? They're a challenge, aren't they? You're like, I know what I want to say. I know how I want to say it, but I'm frightened of what they're going to say. So when you've had a difficult conversation that you didn't really want to have, be proud that you did have that, and recognize the effort, the strength, the courage, and everything else that you had to go through in your head to have that conversation. Be proud of yourself because you took action, and you took action that's true to yourself and your values. And when you make decisions that are true to who you are and who you want to be and who you want to show up as, and you now know that you can trust yourself enough to make a stand in life, be proud of that, right? Recognize that normally I would have let that boundary be crushed and quashed to keep someone else happy. I don't want to rock the boat. Stop doing that, okay? Recognize yourself and that, you know what, you're not better than anyone else, but you're not less either. So recognize how far you've come and speak up for yourself. You know, that's one of my biggest things that I bang on the drum about is people recognizing who they are and what they want out of life. And they're not going to get that by being subservient to everybody around them and just being a yes person. Trust me, I was a people pleaser. There was an Olympic sport for people pleasing. I would be the unresolved, what's the name? Unchallenged, unrivaled champion, one of those. I'd be the champion anyway. So, okay, 9, let's move on. Oh, so I'll go off on a tangent. When you've made time to do something that brings joy and pleasure into your life, especially when you don't normally do that because you're busy people pleasing, giving to everybody else and doing stuff for everyone else to keep everyone else happy, you suddenly look around and go, I don't do anything for myself, right? So when you've taken time to do something for yourself and you've broke through the guilt of doing that and all the other stuff that stops you, oh, I can't do that because of blah, 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 other stories that you've got going on, and you gave yourself permission to learn and grow and acknowledge yourself for taking on that challenge, that's a really, really good time to celebrate, right? Because I know how hard it is, and I'm super proud of you when you do, right? It's something I have all my clients celebrate when they have that breakthrough, that it's okay and it's even healthy to put themselves first. And if you're a parent especially, we're terrible at putting ourselves first. We put everyone else's needs before our own, okay? So it's okay to put yourself first too. Again, it's like putting yourself on your priority list, okay? So the last step then, when you have celebrated the success of yourself, learn to celebrate the success of others and maybe recognize that you've been a part of their growth too. Because when we change ourselves, everything and everyone around us is changing too. And when you acknowledge your growth and you understand that as you change, your change is making a difference in someone else's life too. And that's a significant milestone because you will have helped them take a different perspective and help them progress. Maybe they were stuck too and they're seeing you do something, or you're doing something a whole lot different, and they're like, wow, I want to be able to do that too. So when you're helping others along their journey, that is definitely worth recognizing your efforts. And it's a great way actually to support each other and create meaningful connections with people. So that's my 10 wins. I had hundreds more others, but I'd have to keep it on you for years if I told others. But hopefully they give you some idea of when you should celebrate, because people go, when? I don't know when I should celebrate. Anytime, okay? The key to celebrate yourself every step along the way. Every moment matters, right? Every step along the way, no matter how small or what that step was, right? When you reach a goal, celebrate. When you experience a milestone, recognize it. When you make a positive change, take note of it. And when something really good happens, enjoy that moment. Learn to celebrate your personal growth journey and recognize the progress that you've made. Because when you do, it fills your heart and joy, and it keeps you motivated to strive for more. Otherwise, what is life all about? If you don't take the time to appreciate yourself, I can tell you, no one else is going to. So as a wrap up then, and a reminder, I want you to appreciate your efforts. It's really, really important to remember the risks that you've taken and the lessons that you learned because of it. Like, who are you because you took that risk, because you stepped outside your comfort zone? And when you start doing that, seriously, that translates and goes through every other area in your life, because you know, if I can do that, I can do anything. right? If I can get through that, I can get through anything, right? Think about where you are now compared to where you started, and reflect on everything you had to do to get there, and reflect on everything you had to get through to keep going, right? Think about the obstacles you overcome, right? What message are you showing the people around you when you go through obstacles and you don't get beaten down by them? Especially if you're a parent, what messages are you showing the children that, okay, it's going to get tough and you're never going to give into negative self-talk. It's going to get tough, but we don't give into negative self-talk. We can get past that if we just keep going and we find a way around it and we look for a solution, right? Take pride in that. Even if you feel like you didn't get there as fast as you went or the way that you wanted to, you still got there. That's worthy of celebration. Okay, that's it for me today. As always, I want to remind you to work on your personal growth and leveling up your mindset so you can get MindFit and go after what you really want in life. Stop just accepting what life doles you. Go after what you really, really want. So watch out for the new December theme. We've got a new exciting theme coming up. I'll share that with you sometime soon. And another thing I want to share with you is that I'm excited to be in December launching the updated version of my 6-week personal development program. The people that have taken it so far have had a massive results, and you get so many tools to help you get to where you want to go. And I have people write to me and say, I am still using that tool that I learned, or that tool or those tools that I learned in that program 2 years ago. So I'm really super excited to be relaunching that. And from the 1st of December, you can also reach out for personal sessions. And obviously, I've got my book, Making Broken Beautiful. It is a beautiful book. It's a bit hectic. My story's a little bit hectic in the beginning. But the second half of that book is all the tools and strategy and techniques, or a lot of them anyway, that I use to not let the trauma, the pain, and the adversity that I struggled with, and the abandonment that I had as a child, as a 15-year-old, let any of that determine who I became in my life, or what I achieved, or who I thought about myself as. Okay, my book shares that, and it will help you do the same thing too, give you a completely different perspective on that stuff that's keeping you stuck. So as always, I want to thank you for joining me, for being here. Make sure to join my online community. And if you've got some value out of any of these trainings, I would love for you to share them with other people, because you never know who out there just needs that little bit of help, just needs that little bit of motivation and a different perspective to stop them going down a road that they maybe not want to go down to. So my greatest wish, as always, is for you to be MindFit, so you can live your best life and live it with passion. And I want you to reset, be authentic, and always be you. Bye for now.